history. As you can see, it's a military area, so there's army everywhere here, and war, army relics, and it's a fascinating place because there's also like a thriving community living here.
The history of this land is immense, with war upon war and conquering and taking over and exiling, and on it goes. I learned so much going through this museum, including the fact that the first inhabitants of this land were the Convoys nomadic tribe, and it wasn't until the 15th century that the Islam arrived in Ladakh. And there was one fact on the wall that was really interesting to me. It said that there was 66% Buddhist and 14% Muslim, but as I've learned from the locals, it's more like 60% Muslim at the moment in Ladakh. It's definitely the majority. Anyway, I went around and I learned lots of beautiful things about the history, and what a history there is in this land. It's quite incredible. Bits and pieces about attire and food, but then when we got outside, it was just like, wow. I felt like this memorial area was so familiar to me. It really, really, really made me feel like Israel. I guess in the end, war is war, and so many people die, and just going through all the names, and it was just a familiar space. Then heading back in, it was a whole lot of glorification of war, and the question remains whether it's necessary. I mean, borders are necessary, enemies are real, but does the glorification of war perpetuate war itself? Or is it what's required so that the army can maintain its troops? Who's to say?
I think the most interesting thing I learned was that it's not as if the Tibetans have always been just purely peaceful people. There's been some violent culture, and there's been, they joined the Chinese in attacking long before the Chinese kicked them out. There's a lot of history there that we don't even know about, and I don't think anything really exists in a vacuum. But ultimately, this game of, possession, conquest, and war, it's the same everywhere. Different stories, same.
And yet in the end, life goes on, and that's just the way it is. And all in all, I'm deeply grateful for the army presence here in Ladakh.